I hate riding the train alone at night. However, it's not half as bad as riding the train in the dead of night with one other person. A person who is clearly sneaking looks at you as if you're from another planet. As a small-time actor, I never assume that I'll get recognized out in public. It happens sometimes, though. On occasion, I'll be walking down Broad Street or something, and somebody will approach me tentatively, asking if I was that guy in Killscreen. I will laugh usually and just thank them for recognizing me, and they would laugh or nervously chuckle. It's not like I'm really famous after all. Sometimes the real weirdos will ask for my autograph, and they'll hand me a napkin or something to write on. They're the sketchy type that you can tell is really into indie horror because their eyes shift a lot, and they can't look you in the eye. Is this my ideal situation? Not really. If I wanted to be recognized for anything, it would probably be a big budget role in a huge Hollywood film, with a gorgeous chick or two playing my love interest. I could be like Brad Pitt or something. That would be sweet. As it is, acting is just a job to pay the bills until I can switch coasts, move out to California. The only on-screen role I've had is in that indie film Killscreen. That's how I know the creepy types so well, actually. The people who made it were all about breaking new ground and treading where no one had before. In other words, they wanted a basic slasher film where people died on screen in semi-interesting ways that had been done a million times. I was a generic actor who got killed off in probably the least interesting way ever, really late into the film. Introduced halfway in because they needed to increase the body count. I was literally script fodder with no character development. It sucks, but everyone has to start somewhere. And in all honesty, getting to scream for an audience of probably a couple hundred is an exciting and visceral experience. The girls on set were somewhat attractive, though I never really got anywhere with them. We were all a bunch of college students with our own lives, and way too many papers due between projects. Sitting under the darkness of the SEPTA tunnels, speeding towards work for the late shift, I will often dream of the places I'll see when I finally get my big break. Hollywood, Canada, hot places I've never so much as seen on TV and places that I never heard of. I chuckle to myself. Where's Tijuana anyway? The guy 5 seats over twitches, stealing a glance from the side of his eye at me. He gets a small grin on his face and finally looks up to ask me the inevitable question. But he doesn't, so I do. Excuse me, sir. Do I know you? His grin drops for a second, confused. He wasn't expecting me to talk, I guess. No, I don't... He stutters. I don't think you would, but, I've seen you before. Not on the train. He looks extremely uncomfortable, explaining this to me. I know what he's getting at, but I wanted to make him a little uncomfortable first. Now I just feel bad. Let me guess, I say. Killscreen? He nods, relieved. He breaks into a big, wide smile. Aw, dude, you were so good in that movie. Your character was, like, so relatable and stuff. That guy came out of nowhere and you tried to escape, but he just followed you. You didn't even bother to look at the TV, man. You just ran for it. You weren't no fool, man. He laughs and shakes his head. Man, me and my friends love that movie. We watch it all the time. It's easily the best thing. But I didn't know you lived around here. Oh, how cute. He has friends. I grin a little. Not at his good time, but more at the thought of this creep having a group of antisocial friends just like him. Yeah, I guess. Thanks for that. Did you want an autograph? He looks me dead in the eyes, stone-faced. A complete change from the jovial geek I just saw. No, I want your eyelids. I sit there, shocked, before he breaks his stoic demeanor and laughs hard. What the hell, man? It's too late for that kind of thing, man. That's not cool. He continues to laugh, apologizing. Sorry, man. I just thought you'd appreciate it. You're cool, man. You know? It's not every day you meet someone so famous, after all. I relax a bit and try to find humor in it. I don't even really like horror. It's such a weird genre, and it attracts freaks like this. When I get to Hollywood, I'm never taking another horror role. But at least these people would never hurt a fly in real life. They're just creepy. Yeah, I guess. Hey, I'm not even famous, but thanks for being such a dedicated fan. I've never really been in anything else, and it's cool to meet people who recognize me. He smiles, deviously, snickering and pretending to be evil. I'm starting to catch on. Oh yeah? Well, you never know what kind of people you'll meet when you're famous for dying in a horror movie. Doesn't it get weird meeting some of those people? The real freaky horror-obsessed types? Do they ever ask you weird questions? Make you real uncomfortable? You have no idea. You have no idea, buddy. But I take what I can get. Hey, my stop is coming up, so I gotta get off soon, but maybe I'll see you later. Next time, I'll just wait the extra half hour for the next train. This guy was a creep. Yeah, see you soon, buddy. He laughs and is still looking at me as I walk to the platform. Yeah, maybe. I mumble. Fat chance. Driving to work, I throw on my band's demo. I scream in a band and produce us, so I have to test the mixes everywhere. Truth be told, that's what I do at work more than anything. When no one's around, and they rarely are, I listen and mix on different sound systems. It's cool, a good time waster, and takes my mind off the creepiness of the night shift. Retail work pays the bills, but it can drag on and on. I'm thankful and all, but we never see more than a few people, most of which are coworkers of mine anyway. As I'm walking in the front door to clock in and take my place behind the counter, I noticed the cheesy font that I thought was so eye-rollingly bad during post-production. Killscreen, written in big, red, comically dripping letters. The idiots on the day shift must have found it on the internet and hooked up the closed-circuit TV to the computers in the back. Now, I work out in front of a showroom, but the entire back area is huge. It's a warehouse connected by one door to another warehouse, which is separated from the next warehouse over by a loading dock for trucks. Pretty cool placement, super industrial looking too, and concrete everywhere. It's great for shooting music videos for the brutal songs that my band writes. But I digress. Seeing the old familiar font was pretty funny in a way. I guess my coworkers found out about my art student past and discovered the indie film just by Googling my name. Real funny. So funny that I forgot to laugh and instead I called out to the dark warehouse. That's hilarious. I hope you clocked out before you started acting like an idiot on company time. There wasn't any answer, but I really didn't expect one. There are one-way doors everywhere, and people could easily leave without me hearing. I turn my attention to the door, and then to the computer. Since no one's here, I'll just mix this song. And just like that, I tune out the world. Headphones on, world gone. The font is still frozen on the screen, clearly paused in the intro card, and I look up occasionally. I wonder if the guys even have a copy of it, or if this is just a still image they found on Google. Either way, I certainly won't give them the time of day over it. The front door opens. I hear the jingle of the bell from the motion, and I pause the music. Hey, how can I help you? The guy walks in. The guy from the train. Oh, hi. Do you need something? He nods. Yeah, He looks around at the store. He clearly didn't know what we did here. Look, man. We rent musicians' gear here, and sound systems, and we sell cables and stuff. Did you need anything, or are you just here for my pretty face? He smiles, clearly appreciating my sarcasm. Actually, I heard you were screening the film tonight. I'm confused. What do you mean? You know, the movie. Clearly, I know the movie he is referring to, but you can't blame me for being a little creeped out and stalling. I started to get nervous. No, which movie? We don't rent or sell them here. Although sometimes we will do big ceremonies for events and movie opening nights. Killscreen, he yells, causing me to jump, is playing here, tonight. And you are the star of it, right? You should know exactly what happens with it, where it is playing, what goes on, everything, right? He's crazy. Look, man, I'm really not the star. I don't even play a lead role. I just exist to get killed off. There's no point in following me or even paying attention to me. I have no career. I'm not famous. I'm just a regular clerk working the counter like anyone else trying to get somewhere in life. That guy is just standing there, taking in what I said. So, you aren't playing it tonight? No, I'm not. No one is, probably. It's not even a popular film. Then why is it playing on the TV? Under your desk? He's right. Since he walked in, the movie had started to play. Now we were a few minutes in, and the first murder was going down on screen. A beautiful, or at least semi-attractive but very professionally costumed, blonde was getting knocked down and beaten with a hammer. All the brutality took place in silhouette, with splatter of fake blood on the wall, and it was almost humorously cheesy. How did people like this movie? How did you know it was playing? I didn't even know that. I'm more curious and confused than scared. This could really be the work of my friends. Everyone knows. We all got the message, a text. Here, this address, tonight. But I got to meet the star way beforehand, and nobody else knew you were even going to be here. What are the chances? He's so excited, throwing his hands up. Exuberant, he spins in a circle while he talks and points at random things. Then finally at me. And here we are, together, you and me. This is going to be amazing, watching the film with the star of the show. I sharply interject before he can keep rambling on. Stop! I'm not the star. What makes you think I even like this stupid film? It's just a cheap, cheesy college film student project with a lousy budget and horrible acting. Sure, I had the best talent of any of them, but that's not hard when you consider that we were all volunteers and none of us got paid for it even. I'm just a— Shut up! He screams. His voice is raw and has taken on a manic quality. I spent all this time trying to find you, to show you that I'm your fan, and to show you and everyone how much I love this movie. My friends helped me a lot, and we were so eager to see how happy it made you that we loved this film. We even scheduled this little screening so we could express our love for this film the best way we know how, watching it over and over again with our favorite character right here, in the flesh. He's crying, sniffling after every other croaked sentence and breathing heavily. Green snot is running down his face, flecked with blood and creating a disgusting shine under the fluorescent tubes of light, making his skin look pale and sickly. Taking a good look at him, I find myself mesmerized by the patterns of thick, bold veins under his skin. He has shaggy, wild hair that's the same filthy brownish purple color as the deep bags under his blood-tinged eyes. He looks like he popped a blood vessel or something. Sounds like a kid going through puberty with all the cracking and whining. Look, man, you need to calm down. I say as gently as possible. I feel so bad for this guy, so I try to stifle my fear and disgust. It'll be okay, man, but I'm working right now. Maybe we can watch the movie some other time, with you and your friends, okay? How does that sound? He wipes his face on his sleeve, his nose bleeding a little bit more than before. He grins. That sounds great. But I don't see anyone around at the moment, and you don't look like you're working too hard. Why don't we watch the movie right now? He smiles wide, his teeth yellow with little black holes at the edges. It looks absolutely nasty under the lighting, though I can't imagine it would look much better anywhere. Well, you see, I start to explain, but I stop when I hear footsteps behind me, echoing quietly in the warehouse. The reflections in that room made it difficult to pinpoint locations of sounds, but this was definitely coming close. Thinking about it, how did the movie start playing on the closed-circuit TV if no one else was around? My friend here, he likes the movie just as much as I do. In fact, we all love this movie an awful lot. And we all agree on one thing. What's that? I asked, distracted by the footsteps from the darkness. It's not just reflections or reverberation. There are distinct pairs of footsteps behind me. The noise is building, so I slam the door to the warehouse and try to lock it. The movie is into the fourth death already. 2 of the bodies piled on top of each other, and my character is being introduced at his work. I look up to find the man smiling, reaching into his pocket. It's sickening, his disturbing grin, and on top of the growing noise from behind the door, I can't take it. Suddenly, it's silent. He holds out a small pocket knife, completely non-threatening, held by this lanky, pale figure, and speaks calmly. Your scene is the best. The door behind me cracks from the force of however many guys are back there, slamming into it and laughing. That laughter is evil, malicious, and pure. It sounds drunk with joy. I had to get out of here. Just as I'm running past the cracking wooden frame, the door bursts open and shards from it rain down on me. My leg is scraped open by the splintered door that's falling down as I scramble away, trying to find balance to sprint out the front door. The crazy man holding the small knife cackles joyously. This is the scene! Oh, do the run! It's so much more true to the source material! Adrenaline is pumping through me as I sprint harder than my legs would be able to handle ordinarily. I'm not a runner. I walk and I perform, but I don't run. My body is screaming at me while the people behind me followed at a slower pace. At this rate, I can get to my car and drive away. I reach my car with about 20 feet between me and my pursuers and try to open it. It won't budge. Someone slowly raises their head, smiling underneath a ski mask and dressed in all black. He holds up a gloved hand, waving at me from inches away with a knife gripped in his fingers. I scream at the sight of this person and instinctively turn to run towards the trees that lie beyond the other warehouses. It's easily 300 feet away, and I can't see anything in the dark, but it will be so much easier to hide from them in the forest. From behind me, I can hear the masked crowd chatting among themselves, their voices rising in volume as they cheer for me to keep going. I'm panicking. Why? Why are they cheering? Is this all they wanted? As I pass each warehouse, more people dressed in black clothes stepped out with ski masks and knives. They all look so familiar, and they all cheer on me. I'm starting to hyperventilate. All of them dressed like the killer from the movie. Nondescript, simple outfits and knives of varying sizes. All of them here to see me run? To watch me scream and cry in terror as they antagonize me like the killer in the movie? My legs start to burn, so I slow down my speed. They aren't hurting me, so I turn to look. I've made so much distance now. I'm at the fence that separates the industrial park from the forest. It's 8 feet high, almost glowing silver in the moonlight, despite the rusted patches and open holes from where coyotes crawl in during the fall to hunt for rabbits and smaller animals. The crowd is silent, approaching slowly. I'm not running. They're not cheering. They visibly turn angry in moments, getting closer. By the time I can make out the features of their faces under the masks, they are vehement. The crowd is an entity, frothing and violently throbbing with hatred. Keep running! One of them screams, and the whole crowd yells in agreement. I turn, start to climb the fence, but my adrenaline is gone and my bleeding calf is burning with every move. It hurts, but I can't stop now. If they reach me, what will they do? I reach the top of the fence, and my hand immediately starts to burn. I push down on the strand of barbed wire that I couldn't see from below. I fall back down a foot, catching my foot in the fence to hold myself up. The crowd is getting closer. I can't stop here. I won't let them get me. I brace myself, scaling the fence and putting all my weight on one side so as not to press down on any wounds, and launch myself over the fence. My body is weightless for a moment, before the lurching pull of gravity throws me to the ground. The crunch is loud, my head ringing. I landed on my side, and my arm must be broken, but I can't feel it. I get up to run through the trees to an apartment complex across the small creek, but I hear the crowd chanting behind me. Hunt him down! Hunt him down! Pulling my body up off the ground, I fall back down. He has a sledgehammer. He was on this side of the fence. There's a thud. My vision goes blurry, and my head swims with visions of water and smoke, stars and fireflies. It's dark. There's a screen in front of me. My face is warm on one side, cold on the other, and I'm sweating heavily. The murder scene before mine plays out in front of me. A generic jock-type character who's been around since the beginning of the film stumbles onto the pile of corpses that has been building since the killer entered. He's awake! I hear a whisper, distant behind me. Or maybe it's beside me. I groan. My head aches. Shh. Numerous voices silence the solo voice. Watch this, whispers someone very close to my left ear. A dim light turns on to my far right, and I turn my head. A man removes his ski mask, gets down on his knees beneath the grungy light of the swinging bulb, and holds perfectly still, while another taller man, with a ski mask still on, ties his hands behind his back. The whole time, the man who took his mask off smiles widely. He wears a huge, excited grin, like he's about to tell the best joke in the world, and he's got to share this moment with everyone. On the screen, the jock had his right foot removed by the killer, and the killer ties his hands behind his back. I look back over at the smiling man. The bulb swings slowly to the right. The smiling man's right foot is crushed, mutilated, and hanging from his leg by what looks like a stretched piece of meat. His eyes are watering, but his smile remains huge on his thin, old face. His gray hair is combed back, with strands of it falling to the sides behind his ears. A man with a small hatchet steps into the light. I look at the television. The killer steps forward with a hatchet. I remember this scene clearly. The camera cuts away, and the head falls to the ground. It pans back, and you see the head in front of the body, the killer picking it up and tossing it into the pile. I look back at the man. I can't watch this, but for some reason my eyes won't close. The man with the mask raises the small hatchet and swings down with brutal force, but the man's head doesn't fall. The crowd gets tense. I can't feel anything at all. The man in the mask goes stiff, turns to look at the crowd that is watching him. "You screwed it up!" yells a person from the crowd. The man in the mask starts to shake. The old smiling man starts to scream, the smile gone from his face. The masked man stops shaking, turns towards the screaming, mutilated old man, and screams, "Shut up! I can't work with you screaming so loudly. You're embarrassing me in front of all these people. Now die with grace, old man." He swings the hatchet wildly, chopping at the old man's neck from every angle to separate it from the man's clearly visible spinal cord. Halfway through the sentence, the old man stopped screaming, and his face was frozen in a look of absolute misery. The masked man kept chopping away at the body, smacking it with the handle and cutting it with every swing. He hit the body so hard, the flesh started to sink into the body and it started to look extremely tender. I want to vomit. I'm starting to feel the aches and pains of my body. My eyelids won't close, but I can feel a sharp cutting pain from right above my eyes. My mouth is gagged and my arms are tied to the chair that I'm sitting on. The masked man grabs the head of the old man. He's walking towards me with a triumphant demeanor that says he must be in charge. With one hand, he holds the face of this old man in front of me. With the other, he presses the hatchet's blade into my already open leg wound. It hurts so bad. I've never felt this kind of pain before. I want to scream, but I can only cry. Shh, it's okay. Loud enough for the whole rapt crowd to hear. You're about to become part of something greater, says the man. And my son is very eager to do the honor. The man beckons towards the only person in the crowd not wearing a mask. The guy from the train. The guy who stalked me to my work. Who couldn't stop smiling as he walked right up to me and held up his hand. Do you know what these are? He asked, smiling more intensely than before. In his palm lay 2 thin pieces of skin. I shook my head, tears welling up in my eyes that burned. I couldn't blink them anyway, so they rolled down my face. He started to giggle, the crowd laughing along behind him so loudly that he had to shout to be heard. These are your eyelids, just like in the movie. Now you have to see it all. My head burns. I can feel the jagged lines where my eyelids once were. I'm shaking. They're laughing. On the screen, my scene has started. The crowd falls instantly silent once more. There I am, on the screen, about to die. I know what's coming. On screen, the killer ties my limp body to a chair after knocking me out with a hammer. I tried to escape and he seemed to come from every direction I tried to run. He removes my eyelids with a small pocket knife, and my limp form wakes up after a short time. My character looks around, sees the beheaded body of the jock that I had befriended just a few scenes before. The camera cuts to the killer, brandishing a large knife and walking steadily towards me. In real life, the boy who had been so excited to meet me so few hours ago walks away and grabs a knife from his father. He turns to me with a pure, elated smile on his face and matches, step by step, the steady walk of the killer in the movie. I have one regret. The boy speaks as he reaches my chair. His breath is putrid. As the killer plunges his knife into my gut, setting off every nerve in my torso, and arcs the blade up, agonizingly slowly up towards my heart, behind my ribcage. He screams the last thing I hear over the cheers of the crowd. You won't get to see the end of the movie.